Alright, response video to Nick. Wasn't going to make a video this morning, but whatever. Cold today. Eek. It's really disgusting. Way too hot. Now it's just way too cold. Yeah, whatever. I will do my thing. Yeah, I gotta look for my earplugs. I lost my earplugs again. Damn it. So, yeah, I'll be doing a lot of looking down while I'm making this video. But anyway, fell out of my bag, probably. Maybe, possibly. So anyway, Modern Mystic again, and he's back on this. He knows the secret, and the secret is there's nothing knows anything. And of course, yes, if I break it down to the quantum level, nothing knows anything. That's quite correct. It's just in a bunch of arranged matter, blah 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 blah, and such. But we know that there are properties that have developed out of matter. We know that each element has properties, and that these compounds acquire properties, and that human beings acquire properties, and we recognize them. And that recognition is not erroneous. It is not fraudulent. It is not outside the boundaries of formula. And he's implying that somehow I think knowing is like there's a knower that knows. And I think I've made it as clear as I can. My metaphors are pretty clear. I've called them trains. I made them as mechanical as possible in terms of these themes that run inside of us, and the fact that they are weighted by some process of weighting that doesn't have any decider or thinker or willer or wanter or anything like that in there. It is all just process, but it's process coherent to. It's limited to its properties. It's defined by properties. Properties are, just as they are. You can be liberated by having a skill. Having a skill is also limiting. As it defines what you are. So as soon as you establish what you are, you basically establish what you aren't. In a way. But anyway, I don't want to get into too thick a word game here. But again, this is he's implying a motive on my part that somehow I want to retain something for some purpose, so I can be a snarky asshole in personality. That's not the purpose at all, but whatever. Go ahead. I'll just sit on my high horse and say my horse is higher than yours. You can't see from what I'm seeing because your horse is too fucking low. You're sitting on a donkey, retard. So I can play the same game. I have the secret. Nah. I'm so far above you. You silly person. You aren't getting it. These truths are like E equals MC squared. These principles, these properties, they're formulas. They exist in the material universe as facts. And the fact that we can recognize these facts in terms of our brain can create symbolic representations inside of our brain that represent concepts like water and its properties of water. There's nothing woo-woo about that. It's a perfectly formulatic, programmatic mechanism. And it functions. It works. And it recognizes, it allows us to recognize these patterns and these properties. And again, you're just annihilating it. I'll impose motives on you. You're just running from the truth. And life is a lot more complicated than Nick just running his little programs. There's effects of your programs. What programs run will change what happens in the world, will change the welfare of sentient beings, blah, 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 blah. And you just don't want to live in a world that complicated. So there, I've impugned motives on you now. If you want to play that game. Yeah. So anyway, the point is to come to some realization of how the mechanism works. I've called it a mechanism. How many times? So obviously I'm not saying it knows something. I'm saying it creates, the product. The product is a realization of reality. I've said it so many times. We do not make up the truth. We discover the truth. the truth of relationships. Again, patterns, as he calls them. Their legitimacy is there. It's real. The relationships are real. They're not fake. They're not fraudulent. Our brain doesn't make it up. Okay, the brown things are the brown things. The green things are the green things. These categories exist. These properties exist. These exclusions exist. You either are a rapist or you're not a rapist. You're either 6 feet tall or you're not 6 feet tall. These are categories. They're truths. And so, yes, but they're not understood in the sense that we aren't sitting here understanding. No, our brain is creating representations that fit into a psychiatric model of the universe, a mental model. And if you're doing it right, your model duplicates reality. And if you're doing it wrong, you see just pixels. And you don't get that it's not just pixels. It's pixels working in mechanical ways. And we can understand the mechanics of the movement of the pixels, why they do what they do. We can figure it out. It's not a pie fight. It's some sort of structure. And that structure is going to impose the result. There is filters. And those filters are basically made up of properties. Properties define what you can do and what you can't do. and how you will function. How an element of you will function. What elements in you function. What elements control, dominate, rule, all that crap. So let's see, what else did he say in his video? Oh yeah, he did the evolution thing, which really bugs me again too. People keep doing this. They keep talking about evolution as if, philosophy or ideas or personality is controlled by this genetic function. And I just find that so irritating. I mean, we live in a world where information is the thing that's evolving. Knowledge, arguments, these are the things that are evolving. And they don't evolve genetically. I mean, man, where do you get that from? Philosophy is all about nurture. It's not about nature. The evolution game is over. Even biologically, it's nonsense. The strong aren't surviving. The stupid and the weak are. They will. The meek and the sick and the useless and the broken will inherit the earth, because they're the only ones dumb enough to keep reading. So anyway, but that's just that's the mechanism, and has nothing to do with the level of the software growth, I guess is the point. The hardware at some point becomes irrelevant, and the software, the efficiency of it, the purity of it, the functionality of it becomes the dominant feature. And it is the evolution of the software that has, in the last 100 or 200 years, exponentially grown and mutated and changed and created a new world to live in, an expanded one. Expanded and at the same time shrunk the real world in a way, right? But anyway, so yeah, no sale to that whole genetic thing. I just think that's absolute nonsense now. We see what controls people, and it's their parents and their environment. Arabs aren't Muslim genetically. They're not fucktarded genetically. Anyway, So what else do I want to say? What else did he say in this video? Patterns. So again, we're going to argue about words and whether they mean anything. And to say recognizing a pattern, and in the same sentence saying logic doesn't exist, or logic isn't a vital mechanism in the whole idea of recognizing patterns. How can you say there is no logic when there are rules to categorization? Those are the rules of logic. Logic defines. Logic says you can't put green in the brown category. That's the simple logical rule. It just basically says don't put the wrong thing in the wrong category. I mean, it's not too big a rule. It's pretty simple. Wrong categories, putting things in the wrong category when you can see the property difference is illogical. You have now broken function because you have mislabeled when you had the opportunity not to mislabel. Obviously, you can make mistakes because you don't have information. That wouldn't be illogical. That would be ill-informed. But to say logic doesn't exist is stupid because we're applying it all the time in establishing definitions of properties and the correlation between pattern recognition, recognizing that this pattern is like that pattern. So anyway, I suppose I understand your frustration, but we've got to use better language in this. We've got to be a little more careful. You just can't put logic in the same category as, guilt or sadness or all this other crap that you did. They're different things. That's illogical to put them in the same category. They're different functions. They have different influences. They're created by different brain mechanisms. It's just not right. It's illogical. It's wrong pattern recognition. You've wrongly recognized the pattern. If you're going to throw logic in the same category as emotional angst. Yeah, that just doesn't... Nope. Wrong. Cutting the field, I guess. One assumes. Anyway, happy day. Overcast, cold. Not good for me. I lost my earplugs. It's three negatives today already. And Nick's making irritating videos. It's 4. And even though I mantra'd to be a better person, didn't quite stick because, I still just want to go to sleep on the couch for a very long time. What else? Oh, there's just, too much. I've just gotten myself buried so deep that you just don't even want to bother eating all the dirt you got to eat to get to the top, to get back to the surface. It's like, oh, fuck it. Just find a way to sink the boat the rest of the way. This bailing sucks. Ooh, that's a good analogy. That's the life half lived, right? It's where you break your boat a little bit and you just spend your whole life bailing. Just trying to get yourself out of the deficits because you cut a few corners that were a little too important. You got a little lazy. You fucked up. And you're going to have to pay for it forever in terms of you're just going to be stuck. You're so busy bailing that you're never going to be able to get ahead. You're never going to be able to polish the brass and do all the other stuff that needs to get done. And so, everything's just going to degrade and turn to shit. Because you're stuck bailing. Yeah. That's about it. Anyway, well, maybe I'll take you all the way up to the fence and we'll see if my earplugs are on the bench. And then we'll see if one of my problems is solved. Wouldn't that be stupid? Yeah. It's hard to find earplugs that actually work. These are just like these little silicone things with little rings on it. And they really seem to work better for me than all the other pluggy, gooey, sticky, spongy bullshit. Yeah. I really do have an ear problem. So I really have to keep water out of there. The pressure is a problem too, though. Fluid thing, whatever. Not right. Not your problem, but it's what I live with. So hopefully they didn't fall on this lawn because then they got chopped up when they got cut last night. So anyway. So what do you think the odds are? I say 50-50. That's probably, ooh, it's not looking good. I don't see anything. Alright, well, out of luck. No earplugs. Nothing even resembling one. Piece of tape, but that's not going to do it. Yep. Nope. Nothing. Okay, till next time, and such, so forth and whatnot.